Told you many times here on the show about quite simply how Harry and Meghan love an award. We've seen that, haven't we, really, over the years. I've lost count of the awards, haven't you? But they will rock up to any event as long as there's a bit of plastic that will be given, and then they can bore us to death with some kind of speech. And I don't mean that in an unkind way, but really, can you remember anything about the speech with the Vision of Women award, the last big award that Meghan picked up in May? I mean, what was it about? Nobody really understood. Nobody really understood what she was getting an award for. You know, you do kind of wonder and think, okay, this is just for publicity. You turn up, you look great in a wonderful frock, but that's it. It's publicity, nothing more. You know what I'm talking about. But it's strange, isn't it? Because in the world of media, you see people who are very similar in many different ways, but also, you could say, sisters of the storm in others. We're talking, of course, about the former BBC broadcaster Emily Maitlis, found fame interviewing the former Duke of York, His Royal Highness Prince. Found fame, of course, by the Newsnight interview with Prince Andrew. Fascinating stuff, as I'm sure we'll all agree. Then Emily really let fame go to her head because she was pictured on the glossy magazine Tatler surrounded by whippets. Yes, and apparently she thought this was a good look and it was a fashion spread, so it was still in keeping with those journalistic integrities, you know, the sort of things they like to bore people with. But really, how do Meghan and Emily, well, really have a similar background? As ever, let me explain. You see, both of them, it's very strange, isn't it? There are rumours abound that Meghan and Harry basically pay for their own awards. No tangible proof as yet, but of course, what you do find with most award shows, as I've told you many times before, there's always some kind of catch. If you turn up, most of the time, you're going to get the award. Recently over here in the United Kingdom, a news channel managed to pick up two very new awards. Amazing, you know, lots of cheers, lots of applause for this as it was a burgeoning news channel. Lots of people were thrilled for them. Then you look, of course, and find out that the sponsors of said awards were none other than the news channel. Wonder how that happened, eh? Now, what's happened over here is we can look forward to the British Podcasting Awards 2023. That is, of course, an award that perhaps if she hadn't have been dumped by Spotify, Meghan Markle could have participated in. You know, after all, she delivered finally all of that podcast, did she not? What's interesting here, though, is that Emily, who has her own podcast alongside Louis Jenkins, and the former BBC reporter John Sopel, well, their particular podcast, The News Agents, is up for 3 awards at this year's Podcast Awards. Guess what? Didn't take long to find that the sponsor of said awards is none other than Global Media. Global Media own radio brands over here in the United Kingdom like Capital Heart, Classic FM, and they are the makers of, guess what? The News Agents. That's right, it's filmed in their studios, recorded in their studios. So it makes you wonder exactly how Emily, John and Louis could have possibly garnered so many nominations after only really being on air for just under a year. Amazing. So next time you see a celebrity award and you do kind of think, how on earth have they been offered that? It doesn't take too long to scratch beneath the surface. And as we saw with Meghan and Harry, and you know, I remember one particular award that they got for only having 2 children. Do you remember that? And then Meghan picked up a podcast award, which really went unnoticed by everybody and clearly had no effect whatsoever because she still got dumped by Spotify. So it's meaningless awards, as long, of course, as you get a chance to put on a frock, turn up on the night, and, of course, give something of a speech. Oh, just as a bycap, by the way, if you want to go to the Podcast Awards, tables per person are £300 with an entree into the after-show party and some wonderful entertainment. That's got you hooked, hasn't it? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.